Jim and Kiilu.
All right. Well, welcome to another Fireside Chat with Kiilu and Jim, and we've got Dennis here as well. Dennis, give us a little intro about yourself.
Okay. Well, let's see. I've been practicing, 40 plus years, and mostly family law, at least probably 30 plus of those. Grew up in Spokane, Washington. I'm a proud Zag, and just actually was at my 50-year college reunion. So caught up with some of my buddies out there. Met my wife in Virginia when I moved out here. Rolled the dice, hung a shingle, didn't know a soul, and started practicing law in Virginia, 1976, and I never looked back. I still go back to the state of Washington, have family, friends, nieces. I love Washington State, but and follow the Zags to tournaments. But
that's awesome. Now, what'd you major in?
I was an accounting major, which is kind of weird. I got a
not for accountants, but for lawyers, yes.
Well, I loved the head of our accounting department at Gonzaga, a guy named Dan Brassage. Black Dan, they called him, because he had a beard that even if you took an 8 o'clock class with Dan Brassage, he already had the 5 o'clock shadow at 8 a.m. So the nickname was Black Dan, and he was just a character. He quoted a lot of saints in his class, and he was a funny guy, and I'm a funny guy, so we hit it off, and I decided, well, I'm going to major in accounting because I like Dan Brassage, but I had enough classes to take the CPA exam, but I just wasn't motivated along those lines.
You're too funny to be a CPA. I have too much personality.
Oh, absolutely. Green visor doesn't quite fit. Covers up my hair.
Green visor at a poker table. I could absolutely see that. Now, Dennis, if you could go back and give advice to your younger self, what would you say?
I probably, one thing I would definitely have taken more English in college. And I tell my kids, if they're interested in law school, consider a lot of English classes, if not majoring in English, because my writing was awful when I graduated from law school. My handwriting was worse than my writing, but I struggled. And I don't know. I think I don't know if I would change anything or advise myself differently. I probably wouldn't have gotten as much trouble as a kid. And I mean, this is G-rated, so I can't get into too many things. But I mean, I had a lot of fun in college. And
that's what that's for.
Yeah. I barely got into
Can you imagine Dennis in college? Good God, that guy.
I really wish that would have been awesome.
Pants. My parents didn't have any money, or not a lot, so I had to pay for college and law school. I worked full time all the way through undergrad and law school. I probably would not have worked. Another bit of advice would have been to take out more loans and not work so much, because I'm a slow reader, and there's so much reading and writing in law school that I could have used a little more time.
Yeah. What kind of crazy jobs did you have growing up?
Oh, geez. I had a paper route and graduated from my regular neighborhood route to one of the Spokane hospitals, which was the two hospitals in Spokane, Sacred Heart and Deaconess. Those were the premier paper routes in Spokane.
Wait, you had a paper route at age 18, or are you saying that you had a paper route like?
Oh no, my first paper route was 4th grade.
Okay, all right. I was going to say, can you imagine, Dennis coming around at 20 years old? Hey, you owe me money for the Gazette. Let's go.
No.
Pay up.
My brother and I got the deaconess job when I was 14 and he was, maybe I was 13 and he was 15, but I know we were both at Gonzaga Prep at the time. And that was a great job because you got to sell the papers at 10 cents a copy. And you got to go in and out of the hospital rooms and, you know, ask people if they wanted a paper and pick up a dime for it. And that was good money. That was profit, a lot of profit there. One of my more interesting jobs was I worked in Alaska one summer on a Persane fishing boat. That's the salmon boat that sells salmon to the the guys with the big nets. And that was, I loved Alaska when the sun was shining, both days that I was up there in southeast Alaska. But boy, that was miserable. We would take the fish into Juneau and sell them, and we would fill them up, and we'd get into the hull. The other guy who worked for this, the Wyoming was the name of the boat, out of Town, Alaska. And so at the beginning, it was kind of fun, and we're joking around, having fun. And he said he kept telling me, American Indian dude, I can't remember his name, but he kept telling me, this is not going to be fun to the end of the, stop laughing. By the end of the day, the slime from the big, whatever that thing's called, that hauls the fish up, was really disgusting. And you know, we had slicks on that covered our entire body and hats. And I only made the mistake once of looking up.
You only do that one time.
So those were kind of fun jobs. I also worked in, I don't know if it was law school or undergrad, for a Tupperware factory. And filling Tupperware. Those were fun meetings that those Tupperware ladies came into the office and, they were singing and getting fired up. And I said, damn, maybe I'll be a Tupperware salesman.
Yeah, throw Tupperware parties. That's right up there with that Cutco knives and stuff.
And then when I moved out here, I moved out actually to do labor law. Following in my father, thought I wanted to follow in my father's footsteps. And I worked for Senator Warren Magnuson. You guys are too young to remember him, but he was a United States Senator from Washington State with Scoop Jackson. And I worked in his office, and then I ran an elevator. I was an elevator operator in the United States Capitol. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I was, you know,
Hey, did you have like one of those jackets?
Well, that's a good question, Kiilu, because being the rabble rouser that I am, they tried to force us to wear those damn, coats like the pages wear. And I said, you know something, I looked around and everybody who was an elevator operator was either in law school, med school, or graduate school, right out of law school like me, trying to, get a job on the Hill or in some form of government. And I said, we're not wearing that shit. We're not wearing those damn uniforms. And of course, all the elevator operators loved me, and we won that battle and didn't have to wear uniforms. But the engineers hated me. Oh my God. That was a fun. Two of the most interesting characters were Ted Kennedy and Jesse Helms. I always think of them because they're two sides of the aisle, and also gave Ronald Reagan a ride on the elevator one time, and that's pretty cool.
Oh.
But I got
that's awesome.
The common joke you would get, the guys would get in the elevator and these staffers, and they'd have a group of people, and they'd say, "Well, I'll bet you this job's got its ups and downs," and I'm ready for it. And I just deadpan, don't even look at them, looking at my panel, and I said, "Yeah, but it's not the ups and downs that get you in this job." And then I just stopped, and the guy goes, well, what? And I turned to him and I said, it's the jerks. Of course, everybody except that guy laughed their ass.
Laughed. I was just gonna say.
I was going to ask you, how long did you have that job for?
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
And the engineers
That's actually
were
a lot
instrumental
longer.
in getting me retired to Magnuson's office. I really hated Capitol Hill. I didn't know one single person on Capitol Hill who wasn't looking for another job.
But then let me ask you this: when you were during that time, what was your favorite bar to go out to? Did you go what place did you hang out at?
You know, I lived in Virginia, so I did. I really didn't hang out that much. I will tell you this: we went to a few. I was probably one of the Irish pubs. I can't remember the name of it, but down in Georgetown.
I could see you being doing a lot of singing in an Irish pub.
Yeah, there was some singing. There was a Capitol police officer, African American woman who she was always joking with us, and of course I am the king of jokesters. So, and I'm telling her how good she looks all the time, and one of my buddies who was the head of the elevator operator said, "Danny, you got to be careful. That she thinks you guys are going out tonight." I said, "Oh damn, she could kill me. I got to straighten this out." So he says, "You got to talk to me." So I talked to her and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm a smart ass. I was joking around. I think I carried it too far." And then later, Tony Zagami was his name. He came up to me and said, "Hottell, this is the last time I'm bailing your ass out. You're not in Spokane anymore."
That's awesome.
So who's your hero?
What was that?
Who's your hero?
Oh, I mean, my mom and dad, probably. My wife is right up there. But in terms of non-family members, I really love Muhammad Ali. I mean, he is, which is another story. If you, probably the best story of all time when it comes to Ali. So I love boxing. My father was a great boxer. He taught me a little bit. And when I went to Gonzaga University, I was instrumental in setting up a boxing club. It wasn't a sport because they wouldn't allow it because of liability, but a couple of us guys organized a club and we put on 2 smokers, actually 3. And I boxed in all 3 of them. And in our senior year, throughout our junior and senior year, I was the president of our class senior year. And so I'm a bit of a leader in raising hell and having fun. So it comes to the spring of our senior year. Ali had 72, and Ali had won his Supreme Court case, and he's back in the ring. I'm following him carefully. I've been to all of his fights that were on closed circuit, and I see that he's fighting George Chuvalo in Vancouver, BC. George Chuvalo was a Canadian. He was actually from Ukraine or Russia or something, but he was known as a Canadian boxer from Toronto, Canada. And they were fighting in Vancouver. Well, Spokane is about 6 hours from Vancouver. So I start talking to my buddies and say, I'm going to that fight. I don't know who's going with me, but I'm driving to Vancouver. And the next thing we know, there's 10 of us going, 6 guys and 4 girls. In fact, 4 of us were at the reunion and we were reliving this trip. We get in the car, we drive to Vancouver. I had forgotten this part, but apparently I talked us into driving the back roads and stopping at every bar along the way. And in those days, you just had to keep the car on the road. I said, we're not going to get off the road. That's why we're not taking the highway. We're just going the back roads. And if there's a bar on the road, we'll stop and have one beer. So it took us more than
that's a long trip
to Vancouver. We finally roll in, we sleep in the park. And one of my buddies was Tommy McCarthy, who his father owned the Salt Lake City Tribune and McCarthy Arena in Spokane, the basketball arena is named after him. But nobody knew who had any money, and nobody acted like they had any money in those days. So we slept in our sleeping bags. The cops threw us out. The fight was that night, so they said, Denny, how are we going to know where Ali is? How are we going to find Ali? I said, well, we're going to go down to Vancouver. We're going to find the nicest hotel. That's where he's going to be. So we go down, we find the Roosevelt Hotel. And they said, well, how do you know he's here? And I said, well, watch. So I go up to the bellman and I said, is the champ up? Has he come up and got out? And they said, no, he's still up there. I said, all right, we got the right place. So they said, well, how do we know what room he's in? I said, well, he's in the penthouse, of course. So I told him, there was 10 of us. I said, we all 10 can't go up. So just the girls. I want the 4 girls to come with me. And because if Ali sees the girls, he's going to want to see us and talk to us. So we go up there, and up and down the hall, we can't hear a word. I said, we're about to leave. And I don't know if you guys remember, but his trusted, guys in his corner were Bundini Brown and Angelo Dundee. So I really studied Bundini a lot. I loved his one-liners. So I'm about to hit the elevator, and I look down and I see Bundini. He's way down at the end of the hall, but I'd recognize him anywhere. And I yell out, Bundini Brown. And he goes, come here. What are you doing? And he says, wait, you got to be quiet. And I said, well, we're just a bunch of students who drove all the way from Spokane. We want to see the champ. And he said, well, you got to be quiet. Come to the fight. And if you guys can make your way down when Ali comes out, I'll escort you down and you can walk him into the ring. And we'll see about after the fight. So we're all very excited. We get to the arena and I see there's no ushers. And I said to the guy at the concession stand, I said, where's all the ushers? And they said, oh, they're on strike. There's no ushers and no cops here tonight, except the hired ones or something. So I said, oh. So we get to our seats up in the nosebleed, $10 each, paid $100 for our 10 tickets. I said, Tommy, these don't look like our seats. And he said, no, Hots, that was my nickname in those days, Hots. They said, Hots, I don't think these are our seats. And I said, no, I think they're at least one level down. We go down. I think they're further down. We keep going down. By God, I think we're at ringside. And that's where we ended up at ringside because nobody stopped us. So then Cavallo comes out and he's dancing around and I said, Ali will make him wait for at least 10 minutes before he comes out. And Ali will come out the same place Cavallo came out. So we walk over there and stand up on the railing. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, out comes Ali with Bundini. And I said, Bundini. And he waves us down and we walk Ali into the ring. So cool. So at this point, we're thinking, this is the best night ever. And if it ended there, it would have been great. We go to the bar after the fight. Ali wins technical knockout. And we're having drinks. And in comes a guy who I was pretty sure I recognized as Herbert Muhammad, who was one of Ali's handlers. And so, I'm just as, aggressive and as brash as I am today. I yell out, Herbert, can I buy you a beer? Of course, he comes right over, sits down, and he's with us all night. And from the beginning, we're telling him what Bundini said. He says, no problem. We'll get you up to the room. And we're like looking at each other. Is this guy bullshitting us? Or we're running out of money. And the girls are saying, Hots, you got to close the deal here. We're running low on dough. And so I said, what do you say, Herbert? And he goes, let's go. And up we go. We go in the elevator. Up we go. there's a bunch of girls trying to get in the room, and they said, "Go away, get out." And the guys from the Islam Brothers of Islam, big necks, no necks. I mean, they were just burly guys inside. They took one look at these 10 white boys and girls and said, "I don't think so." And Herbert says, "Let me in." And he turns to me and he says, "Don't go anywhere." We're out there for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes thinking, what the hell? I don't know. This might not happen. Herbert comes out and he says, "The champ will see you." He is in his bed. He's laying down and he's talking to his wife. Don't squeeze his hand. All 10 of us go into his bedroom. I went in first, and he said to his wife, "Honey, I gotta wait. Hold on a minute. Some of my friends are here to see me." It was so cool. I mean, and they even invited us to breakfast the next day. And I got up and I said, "Hey, are we going to breakfast?" And one of my buddies goes, "Hotz, I got a final tomorrow morning." I said, "We're out of here."
We got a lot of bars to stop at on the way back.
Man, we were on cloud 9. I still have Ollie's business card and Herbert Muhammad's and Ollie's stationery. It's pretty cool.
That's
awesome.
Isn't that a great story?
That really is.
When I was at the reunion, one of the former athletic director at Gonzaga said, "Hotz, have you ever written this down?" And I said, "I haven't. I've told the story 100 times. And he says, "You got to write it down. You got to write it and publish it in the Gonzaga Journal or something." And so we all agreed that I'm going to write it, and they're going to. I'll send it around to all 10 of them, and we'll get it expanded upon.
That's awesome.
Isn't that a great one?
That is. So if you were going to interview yourself, what's the one question that you would want to be asked or that you would ask yourself?
Probably about, tell me about why you care about people, especially in family law. I would want to ask, where's your heart at? Why do you want to do this? Why do you care about family law? And I'd be very careful listening to what I had to say about it to see if it's sincere or if it's money oriented, or I'm just bored, nowhere else to go, nobody else wants me. Because I think it's I have a passion for family law, and I think the good ones all do, and the good associates and partners that I've had all had that passion, and their heart was in the right place.
So is that your answer that you just asked yourself? Did you just give us your answer? Is that, that you've got great passion for it?
I did it with a question and an answer.
I like it.
Nice. So
I thought you were going to say, how'd you get your devilish good looks? I was waiting for an answer like that. The question you'd like to be asked.
I'll tell you, my mom and dad did a good job on that department. I wouldn't be with my wife, I'm sure, if I didn't have that charm.
I was going to say that. How did you land your hot wife is what I would have asked.
buddy.
I'm telling you, Kiilu. And I, you've got a wonderful wife too. So I'm just the luckiest guy in the world. That's all I tell people. I mean, my wife is beautiful. She's smart. She's accomplished in her career. I call her a gourmet cook. She gets upset with me and says, I'm not a gourmet chef, but she really is. She unbelievable. I think she made like 500 different dishes during the 2-year
COVID
pandemic. Yeah. So it was really fun. And actually I work from home now, and and my wife does as well. She's upstairs and I'm in the lower level. And people say, well, how does that work? Don't you get tired of being around each other? And I said, no, I mean, we like each other. I mean, it's not like we're getting in each other's way, but I don't know. I really like my wife, and it's been quite a few years, 35 years, and we're still putting up with each other and having fun.
Heck, I really like your wife as well.
I know. God, when I show up to an event and Teresa's not with me, goes by TC. I mean, it's like, what the hell? Where's TC? I'm chopped liver.
I'm not gonna lie, that's true.
It is the damn truth. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses, and she's
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You just bring them all the time. That's how that works.
I was just talking to Kathy Maddox and Julie Girock. After 40 years running my own place, I joined up with them, and I love them. They're awesome. Two of the greatest people in the world and the greatest lawyers. And we were talking about, my budget for going to these different events. And I said, do you know any couple, any dynamic couple in the AAML or IAFL that is better at working a room and connecting with people than TC and me? And really, I mean, hard.
What? 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 I'm gonna say hot. I'm kind of taking offense to that one right there.
You're there, baby.
Well, what's one of your favorite Academy trips that you've taken over the years?
I was thinking you might ask that. We had a lot of fun in Japan and India.
Oh.
Those are IAFL.
Yep.
AAML was Costa Rica the one that Kenny Altshuler was the mid-year Costa Rica?
Yes, wasn't it?
I think so. And we went. The reception was, we were sitting on some steps. It was like Inca ruins, and it was. It might have been Mayacoba's Mexico.
Yep.
I don't know. They run together, but I mean, I do like the mid-year things. I mean, it's hard for me to say that there's anything that beats Chicago, because I just love Chicago. And I don't know, you guys are too young for this, but one year I can't remember who was president, but it was when I first got in, and I've been in there 40 years. So they had this group. It was kind of like a DJ, and man, he was rocking it. And he had dancers, professional dancers, dancing with all of us. And it took about 5 minutes for us to get out on the floor. And we didn't sit down all night. It was constant rocking. It was a great evening. And that's probably one of my favorite AAML annual meetings.
Oh, that's awesome. What advice do you think you'd give to young fellows?
Well, let's see. I think the best advice is integrity, and don't get caught up in letting the other side lead you down a rabbit hole where you might say something you regret and overstate. I'm a big one for not over trying your case. Don't overstate it. And those things happen when you get into pissing contests with opposing counsel. I've really learned over the years that it's just, saber rattling is not productive. So I would urge people to listen carefully, and listen to your clients as well, and not get too wrapped up in yourself. Think about others. Think about the kids.
So here's a question that's not even following this one. If money was no object, what would you do all day?
Boy, I play a lot of golf.
Kiilu already does that.
If I lived closer to Nats Park, I would go, and they were better. I would go watch the Nats a lot. I live about an hour away. I have season tickets, and God, it's a pain in the ass going into Washington.
Where do you live in Virginia?
It's called Fairfax Station.
Okay.
It's in Fairfax County, about an hour from DC, and it's beautiful. We have 5 acres. We're actually selling our house and building a house in the town of Clifton. So
Clifton.
yeah, Clifton, Virginia.
Oh, holy cow!
Have you been there?
I lived in Virginia for like almost my entire life.
Okay.
So I actually grew up in about 10 minutes from Mount Vernon.
Okay. Well, Clifton is still Fairfax County. It's a little tiny town. It's got a railroad that runs through it. It's got about 4 or 5 little tiny restaurants now. When you were here, there
was nothing.
Nothing.
Moving to Clifton was like, it was like, remember when Vienna got big? Like when Vienna first came out, there was nothing in Vienna.
Yeah.
That's how Clifton was, and it still seems like that's how it is now. Like you moved to Clifton to like get away from people.
Yeah, it's gotten better though. It's really, but in those days they had one restaurant called the Heart and Hand, and George Will used to take Nancy Reagan to lunch there all the time, and that was the extent of Clifton, Virginia, and now that has become an Italian restaurant, and there's another nice restaurant across the street, and it's just a really cool town, and we're building a contemporary home about 1 block outside the town limits, which means we don't have to comply with historic landmark requirements.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
So on the 5 acres, who you got mowing the lawn out there?
It ain't Big D, I'll tell you that.
I was gonna say, you got. Please tell me that the secret to a happy marriage is not your wife's not out there mowing the lawn right now.
No, hell no.
Okay.
Mowers out there right now, you hear them. I'm a big believer in the economy and building the economy and supporting everyone. I mean, geez.
So, what do you do to keep fit?
Well, I golf. I don't. I have bad knees and a hip that was replaced. So I don't walk, and then my son is a personal trainer. My son Blake. I don't know if you heard of the what do you call them when you go sing karaoke. Blake was the one who started our karaoke nights in Chicago with Dan.
Oh, the Virginia tradition of karaoke?
Yeah, that was with me. The first karaoke was when Blake worked at a bar in Boys Town in Chicago. And Ron Evans and I went there one night and just completely got obliterated. And he had to put us in the cab home. And we said, Blake, we'll be back tomorrow night with the gang and we're going to sing karaoke. And oh my God, what a fun night. And then they've done it at different places ever since. But Blake is a personal trainer. He's built like a brick shit house. And I work out with him twice a week. And then we walk, we have dogs. So Teresa and I walk our dogs all the time. But that's, I'm not a runner anymore. I really didn't run at all. As growing up, I ran when I was boxing. And that's about it. I played, softball and a little bit of basketball. But I've been blessed with. My mother was an Irish. Her parents were from Ireland, and her family was. They were not first generation, but I got those genes. And I'm rail thin, always have been, got a little beer gut now, but otherwise I'm blessed with a really genetics that are pretty good.
I'm afraid to ask my next question, but I really do want to know the answer. What is the most daring thing you've ever done?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Don't hold back now.
Ooh. Let's see. Well,
I think of statute of limitations. Is that what's running?
Oh no,
no.
Hey, that's gone. That's gone. I I guess, what the fuck. Two things. Well, one was in college. I'm trying to think. I don't think. No, I was in college, and I don't know what possessed me to drive fast in Spokane, Washington, up it was called Grand Boulevard. But I was going faster than I should have been, and I passed this car going the other way, and I said, I think that's a cop. But I am smart enough to know that you don't think too much about it. You just, if it's a cop, he's coming after you. And if he's not a cop, he's not going to know that you just hit put the pedal to the metal. And that's what I did. And I just flew up Grand, and I see him about 10 blocks back, and I see the flashers going. And I said, I'm in for a dime. I'm in for a dollar. I'm effed completely. I'm going to jail if this guy catches me. I'm just going for it. And I go up 25th. My parents lived on 25th. Thank God it's in our stop signs. But it was really late at night, and in consideration of all the children out there, there were no kids on the street. There were nothing on it. The place was empty. It's Spokane, and it was in the summer, and I'm flying. I admit, and I go flying into my parents' house into the garage, and they didn't have a cover to the garage, so all I could do was drive it in. And by the way, my lights are off the entire time as I'm rolling. And I get in there, turn it off, run into the house. And at the time, my brother was in graduate school at Michigan State in Lansing, East Lansing. So I yell up, his fiance was staying with us, and I yell up, Janet, I'm in bed, and I've been in bed all night. The cops are on their way. Thank God my parents were out of town because they would have probably let them take me. And I'm scared shitless. I'm in my bed, and I hear her talking. The guy comes and goes. I see the flashlight. He's down there checking the garage, and he's feeling the hood. He comes back up and says, who was driving that car? She goes, nobody. She goes, it's funny, it's warm. She goes, I don't know what to tell you. My brother's here. She says, who else is here? He said, my brother, he's been here all night. You tell him to slow down.
Your favorite sister-in-law.
Man, that was I will say this, never came close to doing anything stupid like that again.
I did not see that coming. That's all.
I did not either. I got two questions for you.
Well, you told me not to hold back, Kiilu.
I got you, and I'd love the story. If you had any superpower, what superpower would you be, or would you have?
I'm not into the superheroes, but I don't know. I guess, I mean, it's kind of corny, but probably Batman or Superman. I guess Batman. I kind of like Batman.
Okay, so you'd be Batman, but what superpower?
Superpowers would I have?
Yes.
Oh, I would cure cancer. And I would make Donald Trump have intelligence and common sense and kindness.
Oh my God.
It might be easier to cure
I would make
cancer.
Donald Trump a human being if I had superpowers.
It might have been easier just to cure cancer.
Yeah. But, I'm saying, let's stick with the cancer part. All right. Baby steps here.
All right. Well, this has actually been a pleasure. I could actually do this for like 6 more hours. This has just been awesome.
I was going to say, I know we got to run now, but here's what we're going to have to do. We'll schedule a part 2 with HOTS. And it'll be, Fireside Chat with Kiilu and Jim and Hots.
That's right. We're definitely, let's put that on let's start looking at our calendars and let's do a part 2.
Yeah, we
That'd
could
be awesome.
actually do it in Chicago, you know, and have an audience.
Ooh, that's a great idea. Okay, I like that.
Part 2 will be in Chicago, and then that way, that's awesome.
I told you my great stories now.
Oh no, there's more.
There's more. There's a few more.
There's more.
Me. Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll get 2 drinks in on that one. They'll get some good stories.
That's right. And we'll actually be able to, considering it's during this work day, we'll actually have we're supposed to have a drink when we do this, and so then we'll be able to have a drink. We'll have to do it the proper way.
I got a damn client who wants to talk to me on a Friday night at 4 o'clock. I can't start my happy hour. I mean,
exactly.
I'm just too damn nice.
It's so true.
You're too passionate about your job, Hots.
I know it. I know. I love it. I love my clients. I love this, and most of them I love. Some of them are not as loving. Most of them.
Well, good deal. All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Take care.
Yeah.
Right,
Thank you guys.
Happy Friday. Have a great
Happy
weekend.
Friday to you all.
Happy Friday.
All right, Jim. Kiilu.
Bye.
Laura Morgan said to say hi to you guys.
Oh, good.
Outstanding. Tell her I said hello as well.
Tell her hello.
All right.
Bye, all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.